Have you ever heard Tagalog echo inside a Russian cathedral? Not just bouncing off the marble walls, but reaching deep into people's hearts? It happened one cold winter morning in Moscow. A huge crowd had gathered inside a grand hall for what was supposed to be a normal concert by the Moscow Imperial Choir. No one, not even the choir members, expected anything unusual. The conductor, a tall, serious man named Viktor Petrov, raised his hand. He was known for being strict, silent, and loyal to tradition. The choir stood behind him in long black robes, like shadows under the golden icons that shined above them. Everyone waited for the usual Russian hymns, but something felt different. A few soft murmurs moved through the crowd as the music began. The melody was gentle, warm, almost tropical. It didn't sound like the old Slavic songs Russians grew up with. And then it happened. A single female voice rose from the front row. It was soft but strong, warm but unfamiliar. She sang, "Bayan Ko." The hall froze. For a moment, people didn't even realize what they were hearing. Then it hit them. She was singing in Tagalog. No one breathed, not even the conductor. The song was Bayan Ko, a song Filipinos know by heart. A song of struggle, freedom, pain, and love for the motherland. And here it was, thousands of miles from the Philippines, sung by Russian voices with a kind of respect no one could fake. Phones rose in the audience. Some people smiled, others looked confused. But one man couldn't move at all. His name was Miguel Alvarez, a Filipino seafarer living in Russia for 7 years. He only came to the concert because a co-worker gave him a free ticket. "I thought I was going to hear Tchaikovsky," he later said. "But instead, I heard home." As the choir grew louder, their harmonies filled the hall. Each Tagalog word felt like a wave rolling over Miguel. Waves of memory. He remembered his mother cooking sinigang while the radio played Bayan Ko. His father talking about EDSA, the smell of Manila streets during rainy season. His heart felt so full he could barely breathe. When the last note faded, the room stayed quiet, completely quiet. You could almost hear the echo of the final vowel floating under the cathedral ceiling. Then slowly people stood up, not to be polite, but because they were truly amazed. Miguel wiped his eyes. He didn't even know he was crying until the woman beside him, a Russian grandmother, touched his arm and whispered, "Beautiful song from your country." Miguel nodded. "Yes," he said softly, "it's our soul." The grandmother smiled. I could feel it. That night, the video spread across Moscow, then across the world. "Russian choir performs in Tagalog," the headline said. But behind that moment was a story no one knew. A story that started decades earlier, in Saint Petersburg, with a Filipino nurse, a freezing winter, and a promise that changed everything. The snow in Saint Petersburg does not fall softly. It hits the ground with weight, covering everything in deep, cold silence. It was during one of the harshest winters, many years before the famous concert, that a young Viktor Petrov almost lost his life. He had been walking home late at night after a long choir rehearsal. His lungs burned from the freezing air. His legs felt weak. He pushed himself anyway, like he always did. Viktor believed that great music required great sacrifice, even if it meant pushing his body too far. But that night, the cold was stronger than his will. Halfway down the empty street, his vision blurred. His knees buckled. He fell into the snow right in front of a small clinic near Nevsky Prospect. His fingers went numb. His breath became thin. He tried to stand, but he couldn't. For the first time in his life, Viktor felt true fear. Then the clinic door opened. A woman stepped outside, carrying a metal trash bin. She froze when she saw him lying there. Without hesitating for even 1 second, she rushed to him. Her name was Teresa, a Filipino nurse working in Russia to support her family back home. Her English was broken, and her Russian was even worse. But kindness speaks in every language. Sir, you okay? You hear me?" she said, her voice full of worry. Viktor tried to speak, but only a hoarse whisper came out. She grabbed him under the arms and pulled him inside the clinic. She wrapped him in blankets, warmed his hands, and checked his breathing. She talked to him softly the whole time, even though she wasn't sure he understood. Then, as she placed warm cloths on his face, she began to sing. Not a Russian lullaby, not a hymn, but a Filipino song, Sa Ugoy ng Duyan. Her voice was gentle, almost motherly. Viktor didn't know the words, but he felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Warmth, safety, peace. When he recovered a little, he asked, "What? Is that song?" Teresa smiled shyly. "It's Filipino, a song about a mother's love. We sing it when we miss home." For the next few weeks, she checked on him often. They talked in simple English. She told him stories of fiestas, of jeepneys, of families who laugh even when life is hard. She told him of her own mother, who taught her that music keeps the heart alive. Victor found himself returning to the clinic even after he got better, bringing her small gifts, bread, scarves, apples when he could find them. In return, she taught him little melodies from her homeland. He tried singing them, and she laughed gently whenever he got the Tagalog words wrong. One day she said something he would never forget. In the Philippines, even when we have nothing, we still sing. Music gives us hope. That sentence stayed with him for decades, buried deep inside his heart. Years later, long after she returned to the Philippines, long after the letters stopped coming, he still remembered her voice, and he remembered the promise he made to himself. One day, I will honor her. Years passed, Russia changed, the Soviet Union fell, borders opened, new music, new languages, and new cultures entered the country. But in Viktor Petrov's heart, one thing did not change. He still remembered Teresa, her voice, her kindness, her lessons about hope. He also remembered the promise he made, to honor her one day through music. At this point in his life, Victor had become a respected teacher at the Moscow Imperial Conservatory. Choirs trusted him, students admired him. But even with all his success, something inside him felt unfinished, like a song with no final note. One afternoon, after a long practice, one of his young students, a talented soprano named Anna Vulova, rushed to him with excitement. "Maestro, I found something online," she said. "It's a Filipino song. Have you heard this?" She played it on her phone. The moment the melody began, Victor froze. It was Bayan Ko. He had never heard this song before, but somehow it felt familiar. The longing in the notes, the ache, the love for one's homeland. It reminded him of Teresa, the way she sang in the clinic decades ago. "Play it again," Victor whispered. Anna played it 3, 4, 5 times. Each time, Victor felt something opening inside him, a door he had closed years ago. That night, he couldn't sleep. By morning, he knew exactly what he wanted his choir to perform. But it wouldn't be easy. At the next rehearsal, Victor stood before his choir and said, "We are learning a new piece. It is in Tagalog, a language from the Philippines." The room erupted in confused whispers. "Tagalog? But we've never sung that. Won't it sound strange? Isn't it too difficult?" Victor raised his hand. "If you can feel the emotion," he said, "you can sing the song." And so the lessons began. At first it sounded rough. The vowels were too sharp. The rhythm was too stiff. The Tagalog words felt strange on their tongues. But week after week, something started to change. The choir began to understand not just the notes, but the emotion behind them. One day, a tenor stopped and asked, "Maestro, this line, what does it mean?" Victor looked at the phrase. "It means," he said softly, "to die for you." "For who?" someone asked. "For your country," Victor replied. Then, after a long pause, "For what you love most." The room fell silent. For the first time, the Russian choir didn't sing like performers. They sang like people reaching for something deep, something universal. The love of home, the pain of sacrifice, the hunger for freedom. That was the moment Victor knew they were ready. They didn't just understand the song, they felt it. And so, the night of the concert arrived. The night Miguel Alvarez heard his homeland echo inside a Russian cathedral. The night the world watched a choir sing a Tagalog song with more soul than anyone expected. What Miguel didn't know was this: every note he heard, every Tagalog word, every emotion in that hall, was Viktor Petrov's promise finally coming true. A promise made long ago to a Filipino nurse who once saved his life and taught him that music is where the soul meets God. The world saw a choir singing, but Victor knew the truth. He wasn't just honoring a song, he was honoring Teresa,